Forget Yankees, Red Sox, Michigan, Ohio State, Duke, North Carolina, and think about the best head-to-head rivalries in sports right now. Kobe against LeBron, Tiger and Phil, Federer, Nadal, and as we will see tonight in Game 7 between the Caps and Pens, Ovechkin and Crosby. So how do those rivalries stack up against each other? Which is really the best one right now? We've got 4 experts here to make the case for each. Sports Illustrated's Damon Hack is with us for Tiger and Phil, and then our ESPN guys here with us as well. Matthew Barnaby on Ovechkin Crosby, Jalen Rose for Kobe and LeBron, and Woody Page is here for Federer and Nadal. You didn't know of his tennis affinity, did you? So I want you guys to think sort of 30-second shot clock here, guys, and make your case for the best sports rivalry, why it is the best one. And Matthew, we'll start with you and Ovechkin and Crosby.
Well, we aren't going to use the same shot clock that Orlando had last night. For me, it's Ovechkin Crosby. They absolutely hate each other, and that's the first determining factor in why I'm going to go with this rivalry. Yes, they're all phenomenal athletes. Crosby's amazing. He's led the league in scoring. He's led his team already as a young kid to the finals. You have Ovechkin, who plays with so much passion, but to me it's the hatred that they have between each other. One is the All-American or All-Canadian boy, whichever one you want, and the other guy is just a physical Russian that brings it every single night. These two are going to be the face of the NHL for the next 15 years. These are the two most dominant in their sport, bar none.
All right, you got 2 extra seconds. Jalen, go Kobe and LeBron.
In the NBA, we've been waiting for this since Magic and Bird in the 80s, where those two gentlemen played against each other 8 out of 10 times in the finals. Now we have the reigning MVP, LeBron James, against the former MVP and Kobe Bryant. You saw how they lit up Madison Square Garden. 55 points for LeBron James, 61 points for Kobe Bryant. These two guys are the top jersey sellers in the NBA. Kobe Bryant has all of the accolades, 3 NBA championships, scoring titles. LeBron James is the next great phenomenon. His numbers rival Michael Jordan and the Big O, and he's lived up to the hype.
Time's up there. Damon, you're on the clock next with Tiger and Phil. Go.
Got to go with Tiger and Phil. They've already had 15 years of animosity between them. There's heat and edge to this rivalry. The camps don't like each other. You have Phil saying, I hit it past Tiger. You have Tiger's caddy calling out Phil, telling him he doesn't like him. You've got Tiger's old coach. Tiger dumped Butch Harmon. Butch Harmon teams up with Phil Mickelson. You have the natural storylines with these two. You have Tiger dominating forever. You have Phil getting in better shape, working on his body, finally winning a major championship. And their camps don't like each other. And truth be told, they just don't like each other very much.
There's a lot of that going around. Woody, you're up next. Now, Federer and Nadal.
Well, we've had 2 that are involved in team sports, and I don't think you can say that that's an individual rivalry. Phil and Tiger, over the years, there's been a lot of talk about it, but Tiger's totally dominated that rivalry. So let's go to tennis. And I know you don't think about this, but Federer was going to be the greatest player of all time, surpassing Sampras, Bjorn Borg, McEnroe, Connors. But what's happened? He has now got a rivalry. Nadal has beaten him the last 3 Grand Slams. He can't beat him on clay. He can't beat him on silly putty anymore.
Time's up, Woody. We got to buzz you twice. Let's get more specific. Tell me why your rivalry has more of that highlight reel material. Jalen, we start with you.
Mine is current. These two gentlemen are probably going to be playing in this year's NBA Finals. It's not like Phil and Tiger where there's no rivalry. It's not like Sidney and Ovechkin where it happens in the first or the second round. Our guys are going to be in the biggest stage at the biggest time.
Are you kidding me? Talk about in the moment. We're going into Game 7 with Ovechkin and Crosby, and all they've done is live up to expectations. They've been phenomenal. The 2 hat tricks, both had a hat trick earlier on in the series. They both hate each other. Ovechkin was calling him a chicken earlier on in the year. Go back to golf. Are you kidding? That's not a rivalry. Are you kidding? Tiger Woods is so much better than Phil Mickelson. At the end of the day, they won't even be mentioned in the same breath. The only thing the tennis players have in common is whose hair is better. That's about it. And basketball, they're 7 feet. I mean, how hard is it to dunk?
Woody or Damon, you guys got to jump in here.
I got to jump in. Let me bring you inside the ropes to Augusta National just last month. Tiger and Phil playing in the same group. Tiger in the red, Phil in the black. Both of them out of contention, and all of a sudden they shoot up the leaderboard. Tiger making eagle on 8, Phil making birdie. The crowd was going crazy. We forgot about Kenny Perry and Angel Cabrera. The whole world was watching Tiger and Phil. There's question marks about whether Tiger is is the best player right now. Phil's steadily moving up the world golf rankings. Don't tell me there's not a rivalry between these two. We're seeing right now a possibility that Tiger could be supplanted as the #1 player in the world.
I keep hearing that they hate each other. Does that make a rivalry? Skip and I have hated each other for years. We don't have. You've got to consider the case that when you have overtimes in hockey, that's when a rivalry really develops. I'm telling you,
we've had 3.
There have been 8, count them, tiebreaker victories, and Federer has 5 of those. However, he is 11-0 in Grand Slams against other people, but when he plays against Nadal, he's got a 2-5 record. That is a real rivalry, guys. Not when you're passing the ball.
What about
or
this?
passing the ball.
I don't think.
Or hitting a golf ball. This is a rivalry.
Federer and Nadal aren't a bigger rivalry than Venus and Serena.
Oh.
Okay?
Ouch.
Let alone another sport. When you got Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, both of these guys came out of high school to have taken the world by storm. All you guys' kids, nieces, nephews, they have their jerseys. They watch their games. They actually care about watching our
I have
sport.
your jersey, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
I think
that.
it's important to note here that I got last choice, but I think my debate was the strongest.
Well, I'll give you guys a last word. Make one last reason why, whether it's the way they dominate their sport, the bitter rivalry, why is it best in hockey, tonight's rivalry?
Game 7 tonight. Watch it. You'll be a fan. There's no question about it. 2 best athletes in their game right now, biggest rivalries. They will live up to expectations.
Who in sports doesn't want to be LeBron James? Just watch this year's
Kobe
NBA.
Bryant.
Just watch this. Exactly. Just watch this year's NBA's finals.
I said you would have liked to have been LeBron.
I'll take the Ferrari.
I like Jalen Rose.
Woody?
Well, I think when you're playing in Australia, when you're playing in France, when you're playing in England and the United States in Manhattan, that's where rivalry develops, not when you're playing
Raleigh,
in a
North
couple
Carolina.
of hockey rinks. Yeah, you're playing in an igloo, you're playing in the D.C. area where nobody really cares. I think you got to play around the world. That's what developing rivalry
Be
is.
sure to email Woody on the chat. Damon, go ahead. Give us a reason why it's Tiger and Phil.
I'll tell you why it is, because Phil Mickelson was supposed to be the next Jack Nicklaus until Tiger Woods came along and took that mantle away from him, and now Phil's doing everything he can to try to get some piece of that back. They tried to be Ryder Cup teammates 5 years ago. Hal Sutton put them together. They couldn't even play together. They got beat. They just don't like each other. It's everybody's top story every year going into the season. We see it now, Tiger and Phil, rivalry.
Guys, thanks for making the case for all of them. I should point out, when we had a meeting yesterday and we raised this question, tennis was the winner. To
Venus and
surprise
Serena.
many of us, not even
Really?
Venus and Serena. Federer and Nadal. And weigh in on the chat, because we
We'll
want to
always
hear
have
from you
Paris.
too. This is your chance. You are our take here. Well, you can weigh in on the Sports Nation poll question, which is the best head-to-head rivalry in sports. These guys made the cases. But again, on the chat is your chance. Somebody already said you guys left off one of the better ones in football, Manning and Brady. Let us know what you think.